Hello and welcome to round 18 oddities. Oh man, I've just seen the footage of Charlie Cameron who got suspended. This is not related to this video, but he got 3 weeks for it. That's insane. Anyway, I'll touch on that video in another video. This one here I think is probably the funniest clip of the week. Alex Witherden gets the ball and he knows he cannot take it out of bounds because he knows he's going to be paid for insufficient intent. So as you can see, he sort of just stands there and he's waiting for the tackler to tackle him over the line, but he doesn't. So they're sort of in this Mexican standoff, if you can say that, where he's just standing there waiting to be tackled or waiting to handball the ball. I don't know if you could handball it to the chest of your teammate and just so forcefully that it bounces off his chest, or because he obviously can't handball over the top of his head and make it look like a bad handball, because that would be insufficient intent as well. So I guess he just stands there and waits for the attacker to tackle him, but he doesn't do it. So yeah, it's just this weird standoff. I thought it was hilarious. Ross the boss was so angry at his team for giving away a free kick and a goal that he slammed the phone down and he's broken the phone. A little bit later in the game, you can actually see that he goes to pick up the phone to call someone and then puts it back down, realizing that he's broken it, and I guess it doesn't work anymore. Does he get a bill for that? Actually, no, I think I'll take it back. I think this is the funniest clip of the week. After Maynard gives away a holding the ball free, Grindwise passes the ball over the top to Blitzarves, and he realizes that there's no advantage, so he just passes the ball back, but he doesn't handball it, he throws it. So that's a free kick against. This probably has to be the oddest series of events I've seen so far this year. How's the grip strength of Cameron? He just grabs Dacos and just completely yeets him. Dacos did get the ball away, so I guess this is a 50-50. Good to see that the old crow throw is back in action as Mark Keane just handballs it back to himself over the top of a defender without making any contact to his fist. Hipwood takes a mark inside the forward 50. It's probably about 45, but the umpire allows him to creep a couple metres, and I guess that means that Hipwood's got to go for distance, and you can see the drop of the ball is absolutely terrible. And this is a complete shank. This probably has to be one of the worst shanks I've seen in a very, very long time. Doesn't even come close. And he's probably missed by about 30 odd metres. Wow. I thought the commentators were a bit strange on this one. They were saying that the only reason he gave away a free kick here was the Toby tax. But he's clearly pushed Broad straight in the chin, fairly forcefully. It is an open hand, but there's no need to do that. Let the defender try and push on you like that. It's an easy 50-metre penalty. The umpire didn't pay it, so you hit him and then you give away a free kick. This is just stupid. Nothing to do with Toby tax. As Taylor Walker kicks the ball inside the forward 50, the ball bounces, and you can see Rochelli's going to line up the ball to try and kick it soccer style. The Euros, as the commentators always say. Just shut up about that. Anyway, he gets it extremely wrong and actually kicks Dougal Howard, and this is extremely dangerous. I feel like for some reason there was no free kick. I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of fine for this, because that is just really dangerous. He's lucky he got him in the midriff. If that was high and that kicked him in the head, that could honestly kill him. Extremely stupid decision to try and kick there. Should have been a free kick at the very least. The Wizard has had so many issues trying to kick a goal this year. I think they said before this game he's kicked 6 goals 18 or something disgusting like that. Anyway, he finally gets one online, and it's probably the best kick he's had in the whole season. And for some reason, Lloyd Meek has gone up to try and take the mark on the goal line. You don't need to mark this. You just need to let it go through. You just need to stop the defender from running at it. Just pretend to put your hands up for a mark, but don't actually go for a mark on the goal line. What are you doing? Anyway, the goal umpire believes that it has been touched, and the review system isn't able to tell if it's a goal or not, so it goes through for a point, even though this is probably the goal of the year for him. Stopped by your dirty ruckman. I don't want to turn this channel into an umpire bashing channel, but this was probably the most inconsistent week of umpiring I've seen in a very, very long time. As you can see, the Fremantle player has enough time to dispose of the ball, in my opinion, and the umpire says play on. And then Will Day gets the ball, doesn't even take 2 steps and is tackled, the ball knocked loose in the tackle, and that's somehow holding the ball. It's just so inconsistent, and it's extremely frustrating to watch. I know this poor umpire I have bashed before, but this goal umpire I thought was very good in this instant, and I don't want it always to be a bash the umpire sort of thing, but this goal umpire I thought was very good in this situation. He wasn't sure if Sicily got a boot to it, he wasn't sure if it was Sicily or the defender's boot, and then also it was almost touched on the goal line, so he also wanted that to be checked. This is probably one of the only examples that you could give of when you think a goal review should be needed. Fremantle kicked the ball out of bounds on the fall, and James Sicily wants to take the kick, but the umpire reckons that Meek is the closest player, and you can just see his disgust in his face, like, come on, why does it even matter? Anyway, he gets the ball back and then proceeds to absolutely shank the kick. If you're going to complain that much about getting a kick, at least use it, man. If you watched the Crows game, you knew how wet it was and just the low quality football that it was, as all wet weather footy is. But you just look at Mateus Philippou get the ball here, and he just runs past, kicks it running away from the goal from 50 on the left, and it goes through for a goal. That's an extremely hard kick, but very well done to him. Sometimes you just have to question the ideas of defenders. As you can see, Zerk Thatcher and Bergman have this one wrapped up, or at least they're going to spoil it. And for some reason, Elia decides to come in for the ridiculous mark running against the grain, and during the marking contest he takes out both of his teammates, which then gives Rosas an easy goal. The two defenders were probably good enough to get rid of this ball or mark it possibly. Zerk Thatcher had pretty good hands to it, but Elia comes in, takes out his two teammates. Like, what are you doing, man? This goal from Mead was pretty nice, and poor old Ballard lost in the lights, or I don't know, he was scared of the post possibly. Either way, very nice goal by Mead. For some reason, Dan Houston has tried to kick it well over 50 metres, and he's just kicked it straight to the opposition. The Suns kick it back inside the forward 50, and poor old Zerk Thatcher is caught out, and Ben King just cleans him up. You just hate this situation when you know the forward is coming and he's right behind you. After a couple handballs, Mac Jon has the ball and Charlie Dixon chases him down and tackles him. This should have been holding the ball, but you can see at the bottom of your screen, the umpire actually puts his hands up to say play on. This is clearly holding the ball, you got to reward that. But the umpire out of zone has actually paid it a holding the ball free, which it definitely was. What was the umpire doing who was right there? How did he not call that holding the ball? I'm just very confused by the non-decision there from the umpire. The ball goes through a few different hands here in this sequence and ends up with Jamie Elliott. As he's running towards goal, he's trying to get a kick-off, but he's tackled down to the ground and the ball comes loose and goes through for a point. And you won't be able to hear it on the audio here, but BT says, I reckon he's done that deliberately. I reckon he was having a shot at goal, which is almost impossible when you're getting tackled like that. But anyway, you can clearly see that it's actually come off Stewart's leg, his foot, not Jamie Elliott's. But yeah, BT, you keep doing you, bro. I mean, even if he did kick it, it was definitely accidental. After Farrell takes a mark on the defensive 50, you can see Long comes through pretty late and he does hit him. Farrell's made sure the umpire's seen it and he does throw his head around a little bit as if he's been hit. But after watching the replay, you can see that Long has actually just touched his shoulder and barely forcefully at all. Not even a free kick, let alone a 50-metre penalty. The umpire got sucked into this one, and so did I. Port Adelaide made a pretty mighty run home. They really challenged Gold Coast in the last quarter, and everything would have to go completely right for them to have any sort of chance for stealing the game. And as Finlayson marks the ball inside the forward 50, he quickly goes back on his mark and takes a set shot at goal and misses extremely badly. Port's day is done. If the Kangaroos played like this more often, they'd probably win quite a few games. As you can see, LDU burst through the pack and quite a few really good handballs by the Roos. Gives Larkey a shot at goal and he makes sure of it. Probably the best passage of play I've seen from the Roos, and I would love to see them play like this more often. They had a bit of dare about them, had a little bit of speed as well. If they played like this more often, they'd actually be quite the exciting young team to watch. As Freo kick the ball inside their forward 50, you can see the Hawks defenders get to the ball first. Sicily collects the ball, and you can see that he's just waiting for Amon to run past him so he can get the handball off, but he takes too long, and Brayshaw tackles him, knocking the ball out in the process, but for some reason this one wasn't paid a free kick. I think Sicily had plenty of time to get rid of the ball and didn't, therefore this should have been holding the ball for me. Just a quick one for this one. Do you think Cameron should have been paid holding the ball against for this one? I think so. As the Tigers kick the ball inside their forward 50, Kaczynski gets the ball and he breaks away from his defender and he sort of stumbles a little bit and takes a shot at goal, knowing his defender's right behind him, and he's hit the wrong side of the ball and this goes out of bounds on the fall by 30 metres. But have a look at Adamuse, he's just laughing. Liberatore has the ball, and as Paddy Cripps tackles him, he just throws the ball out, and the umpire is right there and still doesn't pay the free kick. Again, another reason why I think this week the umpiring was terrible. In the pouring wet, Murray has decided to bump Philippou, and luckily he got it right. If he missed, he'd be missing weeks as well. But you just gotta love the physicality of our game. Great to see that the bump is not dead. Nothing too special about this clip, I just included it just to show you that no, that's not static on the screen, that is rain. That's how much it was raining at the Crows and Saints game. I haven't seen wet weather footy like that in probably quite a while now. I thought this was pretty hilarious. As Lohmann takes a mark, Cole holds him up and he does get to the contest a little late. It's just the little jump that Lohmann does to free himself or just to show that he's being held to the umpire, and the umpire pays a 50-metre penalty for this. You see players get held like this every single game and not paid, but what makes this one funny is the jump from Lohmann. The umpire bought it and I guess that makes it a 50-metre penalty. What do you think? Is that the right call? My recording stuffed up on this one a little bit, but Ollie Wines gets the ball inside the defensive 50 and he goes to mark the ball and he's clearly looking up to where he's going to pass the ball next and he drops it. The umpire blows his whistle, Ollie Wines sort of plays on and then looks back because he fumbles the ball. Overall, just a really odd sequence of events. In such a crucial point in the game, the Pies have the ball inside their forward 50 and Will Hoskin-Elliott has a chance to take a set shot at goal or pass over the top to Bobby Hill. He decides to do neither and completely slip over and kick it to the defender. Now that's a coach killer. You don't see this too often. Jack Henry and De Koning get their boots mixed up. I guess because of the shoelaces. One of the shoelaces has got tangled in the boots, in the studs of the boots. How good's that? Again, you gotta love the physicality of our game as Chol goes bang. This is probably a pretty good example of why you always need to play to the umpire's whistle. Jackson reckons he's got this mark completed and then Cal Shadir just steals the ball, I guess out of his hands almost. Mark's not completed and kicks an easy goal. Well done to him for the quick thinking. Sometimes you just forget how strong these AFL footy players are, as Tex Walker just pushes Wilkie over like he's absolutely nothing. Wilkie's a big man. To push him over like this, you gotta be pretty strong. Farrell's usually a very good kick, and for some reason he's just shanked this one. It wasn't even going to get to Rosie even if Long wasn't there. Long takes the mark and he's only 20-25 metres out on a pretty straight angle and goes back and shanks it. You got to make them pay when you get an easy intercept like that. You just have to make the other team pay. Welcome back, Jamie Elliott. After this effort where he spoils the ball down to the ground, he gets the ball and he's running away from goal towards the boundary and takes a shot at goal. It's almost like the further away from goal or the worse angle that he's on, the better kick he is for goal. This one's pretty hard to kick, so well done to him. And that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Cheers.